What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about everything that is wrong with my Mazda B2000. Now, usually in the past I have started the year with a video on everything that we did the last year, all the Mazda we accomplished in there, but I think it's time to switch it up and we're going to be talking about all the issues that I actually have with the truck right now. Some of them are major issues, some of them are some more minor nitpicky stuff, but these trucks are getting older by the minute, and these issues are, I think, a realistic view into some of these cars. So that way you're not clouded by how perfect they might look online. We are gonna start right here with the front, then we're gonna move into the interior and some of the outside stuff, and then we're gonna finish with the rear of the truck. And just so you have a complete, honest overview of how this truck is, at least right now. So let's jump right into it. So right off the bat, we're gonna start here with the front, and one of the plans for 2023 is gonna be adding the chrome bumper in here, but you can kind of see already why I wanna do that. Besides adding a little more chrome to match the grille and everything, you can see my end caps right here. They are super faded. All the paint that they used to have is coming off. All the one on the bottom is also coming off. Now, what I have coming up for this is just basically this chrome part. The rest of it, I'm most likely gonna reuse. I am gonna have to probably sand this down, fix it, you know, add it in here and put some paint on it, whatever, so that way we're not having this kind of ugly look when we have a shiny brand new chrome bumper. If we look at some of this is just nitpicky stuff, but look at that bolt, super rusted. I want to get that bolt out and replace it with some stainless steel. Again, just nitpicky stuff because it's going to keep rusting there. The more water gets into it or whatever, and it's just going to make the front of it look ugly. Now, if we move on into just an overall view of the exterior, it looks great on camera. It is shiny and everything, but I can tell you this is all worn out paint. Now, I don't hate that necessarily. I like the scratches on the truck. I think it gives it some character, that just kind of natural patina on it. But what I don't like is some of these bumps. I do have several kind of bumps, and it might be kind of hard to see here, but there's a small dent here. There's another dent over here. We have some deeper scratches around it, which I wouldn't mind just maybe getting a little bit touched up. On this side too, we have another dent over here, and especially the bed is the one that has the major issues. Look at this dent right here. I would like to get that out, just do some PDR on it. There's a couple more smaller little dents. It looks like the truck might have seen just slight hail at some point. So those I'm not too worried about, but the bigger ones like this ones are the ones I definitely would like to fix. Now, let me pop the hood so we can talk about what's wrong inside of the engine bay. Now, here we are looking at my engine bay, and the engine bay is great looking, but it definitely started having some issues kind of recently. We are having either some kind of air in the system when it comes to the fuel system. It's either running too rich or it's leaking somewhere. Something is happening here with the fuel system. I just haven't had the time to sit down and figure it out, to where sometimes it'll cut off. I don't think it's the fuel pump. The fuel pump was replaced. I am going to check it just in case, but I'm thinking this fuel filter might need to be replaced again. It's looking a little bit dark, and some of these lines, they might just be a little bit too big. That is potentially sucking in air and creating those kind of small hiccups that sometimes will shut off the truck. Like I said, it's just more annoying than anything. My carburetor probably needs to be rebuilt. It looks like it has leak fuel around it as well. So that is definitely another thing I would like to get and fix it like I did my other car. Just kind of rebuild it to hopefully start fresh when it comes to the carburetor. We are also having this issue that after I drive it and go for a cruise, if I park, you're not going to be able to see it from here, but basically around this area, we're getting a small puddle of coolant. I touch around it, and basically there's a coolant line that goes from here and one that runs kind of parallel with the engine here. So my suspicion is that this line that is from the intake here into the other line, it's what's leaking. It's felt wet before to the touch, and I haven't been able to see it leaking, but that's probably where I'm going to start whenever I get to do this. Another issue, and this is more nitpicky stuff, but I mean, look at this brake booster. You can tell they spilled brake fluid or something here that is all kind of rusted in here. I would like to just paint that, make it look a little bit nicer. That way, when you're looking at this, you're not seeing just kind of rust and stuff like that. Outside of that, the engine bay is not having too many problems. It's been functioning pretty well, but yeah, like I said, mostly we having fuel problems here, car problems, and just a couple of just cleanup and making it look a little bit nicer. If we move on from the engine bay into a bit of the suspension and exterior, we're having this issue here where you can see we're kind of leaning towards the driver's side. This side is definitely closer here, just like about a 2-finger gap between my wheel and the top of the fender. And if we go here to the passenger side, we're like about 3. So we are having a bit of a lean into the driver's side, Most likely the torsion bars or something need to be adjusted. I know I saw online that sometimes this happens, that after usage and everything it starts kind of moving a little bit. Potentially an easy fix, but it's still something that is happening. So it's kind of creating that more natural camber in here and kind of annoying. So I would like to fix that to get a pretty nice straight even drive. Now one last thing I forgot to mention while we're still here on the engine bay was I replaced my slave cylinder for the transmission down here, but I never replaced the master cylinder, and honestly that is definitely affecting something in here because we're having some difficulty shifting out of gears sometimes. Now I took a look at my slave cylinder again. It does look like it leaked at some point. It's not leaking right now, but probably not the best one. I'm gonna have to go with a different brand for the slave cylinder, but I think it'll be great to replace that one and my master one as opposed to what I did last time, which was just replace the slave one. Just want to mention that it is definitely something I need to get done. So if we move into the interior of the truck, there are a few things in here. The main problem that we have right now with the truck is that it looks like my driver's side vent is kind of stuck on the open position, kind of like the fresh position for air coming out from the outside. And the rest of them actually work with my controls over here. So if you put it in recirculate, they'll close and it'll be only the air from inside. If you put it on fresh, then it'll open, it'll be the air from outside. But right now my driver one is just completely stuck open, so it's always bringing air from the outside, and I haven't taken a look in there to see what's going on. If you know what could be causing that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's one of the problems that we have right now with the interior. Some of the other things that are more kind of nitpicky stuff, you see me switching some of these things. So I have my black carpet here, I have black trim on the side, I also have the trim that goes right here on the A-pillars on the back and everything. Those are all black. You can see also my steering covers here is black. I started kind of doing the transition to a lot of these things black. This is kind of factory black already anyways, and I would like to kind of finish that and do the dashboard in a black color, but I'm a little bit scared of this coming out and looking like crap. I don't want it to look like crap, so that's part of why we kind of kept it gray so far. I think Abnormal Garage did theirs in black and I think it looks great, so I would like to eventually do that. It's just I don't want to mess mine up and have it turn out like crap, and now I'm stuck with this one that looks shitty in here. That's part of the reason why we also have everything else gray here. I mean, I don't hate the color combo. I've been okay with it, but if we make it all into black at some point, I think that would be super great and it'll match the rest of the truck and what we have going on here. Now, another thing that I do have an issue with, it is my headliner. You can see I have a big old rip here. That is the only rip on the headliner. The rest of it is gray, which is why I'm kind of sad about this being ripped. But yeah, we have that. We are gonna have to switch the headliner at some point, probably make it black to match the rest of it would be great, but I just don't have a solution right now for this, and I haven't done it before, so we're just kind of living with it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my light right here has never worked ever since I owned the truck. I would like to make this work. I would like to have some lighting when we open the door and we get in the truck. I think it would be neat, but I need to open it and I need to see what's wrong with it, if there's any cables or anything that are actually connected to anything that gives it power. We have not taken the time to get in there. This is just, it's a minor thing. It's not pressing. I mean, I have my other lighting in here. Turn this on. You can see I have my other lighting in here, so it's like not super pressing, but you know, one of those things that if we had it come on like it does OEM, it would be pretty nice. The other issue that I know you guys probably have if you have any Mazda B2000 or B2200 is there's no place for your cup. I mean, you have this spot right here, and that's great if you're eating there, but if you're driving, yeah, good luck keeping your cups in here. Now, another thing here, I know a lot of y'all have asked me about my door panels, and there's honestly nothing very special about them. It's just a little piece of wood with some fabric that was kind of cut to shape here. They've been working good so far. They don't look too bad, honestly, with this little fabric in here, but I would like to upgrade them at some point. Part of the reason is also because this basically, well, actually that was as far down as you can go easily. You can make this go down further, but you are gonna have to fight with this a little bit. And that's also part of the reason why I haven't added power windows in here, because once you get to there, you're not gonna get any further down without some resistance, and that's gonna burn the motors on your power windows. So it doesn't make any sense for me to add them now. This needs to go up and down smoothly for it to work perfectly. Also, if anyone knows where I can find these things in black, let me know in the comments, because I've been looking and it seems like I can only find gray ones. So if you know any in black ones, let me know where I can get them. I would like to get some black ones in here. That kind of wraps up all the issues inside of the truck here. And if we move towards the back of the truck, now this is a problem that I had that I think I mentioned this when I put my bed cover on. And honestly, I don't think there's gonna be an easy fix for this, but you can kind of see here, if we're looking straight at the truck, you can kind of see this kind of curves a little bit here. And it happens right on this part, and it also happens right here on this part. You can kind of see my bed cover is going straight, but then you see the cab is a little curve in here. And I noticed this in a lot of trucks in general, a lot of especially mini trucks too, if they're old. What happens is sometimes they'll be using them as an actual truck. Obviously, they'll be carrying stuff in here and they won't be paying too close attention to the weight. So what happens is stuff is moving, it's hidden, and it ends up kind of doing this curvature. I know my B2200 does not have as pronounced of a curve in here. This one has it, but again, I don't think there's probably an easy fix out of this besides maybe taking the bed off and trying to straighten it. But I do not want to make this any worse, so I'm probably just going to leave it as is and not have to worry about it too much. Another issue that we have here, and one thing that's be coming up for the channel hopefully, is going to be this whole leaf spring thing. What it's doing or what it's causing, if we look here at my wheel, so we're looking here straight at the truck, you can see my wheel sticks out, right? So these wheels are 16x8 with 0 offset, so you see a little bit right there. But if we go over to the driver's side and we're looking straight at it, look at that. You can kind of see a little bit, but it's not the same like that. So basically what's happening is the axle seems to be a little shifted this way. And this, again, could be just installation error. Maybe we didn't notice when we were messing with this at all, but I'm pretty sure it's related to the leaf spring a little bit, and we are gonna tackle that eventually. But yeah, we are basically sunken in here a little bit, and this side comes out. Now, another thing too, because of how low I am and I have the factory exhaust, you can see my exhaust tip right here, nothing special, but underneath my exhaust is barely curving above the axle, and it's hitting the axle and my brake line every time I go through bumps and stuff like that. It's just not ideal. So this whole section of exhaust that runs basically before the axle, over the axle, and then out the side over here needs to get redone. And I need to take it to the shop, have them just kind of cut it and add a new piece and go over it, so that way we're not hitting it as we're driving. Small stuff like that. Here we have another bump right there. I would like to get that out as well. As far as back here, we are not having a lot of issues on this area, thankfully. The only thing, I have my little lens cracked a little bit, which is unfortunate. More scratches in here, but like I said, not to worry about that too much. Outside of that, I think the rest of it, it's great. So there you have it, guys. That is basically everything that is wrong with my truck right now. If you are having some similar problems or you have some recommendations for some of the stuff that I mentioned today, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. That's really all I have for today. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for liking the channel, subscribing and everything. And hopefully we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye. Is your truck giving you problems? Is it not starting right? Maybe it's leaking oil. Maybe it's